If you work in a prison right now, you're about to get asked questions that can either make you credible or make you look like you don't know your job. Does the sentencing bell mean I'm getting out earlier? And if you guess the answer, you're going to get burned. Because nothing destroys credibility on a prison wing faster than giving a confident answer that turns out to be wrong. And now, before anyone twists this, let me be clear. This is not about officers ignoring HMPPS policy. This is not about staff calculating sentencing on a whim. Sentence calculation sits with the proper process, OMU, and the legal framework. This is about helping staff understand the legislation enough to stop misinformation spreading across prison landings. Because when staff don't know, give the wrong answer, or keep fobbing people off while anxiety is building, that doesn't calm prisoners down. It makes staff less safe. And frontline staff safety matters more to me than management's convenience. Across prisons right now, the rumors are already spreading. People are saying everyone's getting out earlier, recall is capped, extended licenses are ending, short sentences are disappearing, the law's changed. And prisoners are asking officers on the landing to explain it, which means whether establishments brief staff properly or not, these officers are about to become the front line for explaining legislation. And here's where things start going wrong, because legislation is complicated. Sentence type matters, date of offense matters, the law that existed when someone was sentenced matters. So when someone asks you on the landing, does this apply to me? The short and honest answer will often be, it depends. In simple terms, the reforms are doing few key things. Okay, first, the government is introducing a progression model for many SDS sentences, so standard determinate sentences. Second, recall rules for many SDS cases move to a 56-day fixed recall period, replacing the old 14 and 28 days short recalls. And third, courts are being pushed away from using very short prison sentences where possible. But here's the part people miss. Not every sentence is affected. And not everyone in prison falls into the same legal category. Right now, there are prisoners sitting on the wings convinced the release date is changing, when legally it won't change at all. And when that expectation collapses, staff are the ones standing and dealing with it, not management sat in the cozy offices. And that's why guessing legislation inside a prison is so dangerous. The most credible answer staff can give is actually very simple. I'm not going to guess your release date on the landing. Your sentence has to be calculated under the legal framework that applies to you. Like, you're not avoiding the question. That's protecting yourself from giving misinformation. Because prisoners will work out very quickly which staff understand the system and which staff are repeating rumors. And credibility on a prison wing is not a small thing. I know that. Credibility keeps conversations calm. Now, let me give you a quick breakdown. First, landing officers. Your job is not to calculate sentences. Your job is to control the conversation safely. So when someone asks you, does the new bill change my release date? The safest response for you is to say, your sentence has to be managed and calculated under the legal framework that applies to you. OMU deal with sentence calculations, not us on the landing. If they push further, keep it simple. If the legislation affects your sentence, OMU will calculate it and update your release date. That keeps you inside the national framework, and it stops you from giving the wrong information. Just as important though, do not dismiss the question, because people are asking about release dates from anxiety, not attitude. A calm answer now prevents problems for you later on. Now for my OMU staff. Because this legislation will land on your desk, whether establishment briefed you or not, there's three things that will matter the most to you. First, sentence type. Standard determinate sentences, extended determinate sentence, and all the frameworks all behave differently, don't they? Second, date of offence and sentencing framework. The law that applied when someone was sentenced often determines how sentence is calculated. And third, Recall rules and exclusions. Not everyone falls into the same recall category under the reforms. We all know that. Which means the answer to many prisoners' questions will still be your sentence has to be calculated under the correct legal framework. And that calculation has to follow official sentence calculation guidelines. And here's the reality inside prisons: one wrong answer on the wing can spread across that entire jail in about 10 minutes. And suddenly everyone believes it. So if you work in prisons and OMU and you want something practical, comment breakdown under this video. I'm putting together a plain English staff breakdown that explains what the sentencing bill actually changes, the questions prisoners will ask you, what you can safely say to protect yourself, and what needs referring to OMU. No legal waffle, just something, useful when you're standing on a landing. Even if you already know the system, comment breakdown anyway so more staff see this. The sentencing bill isn't just something happening in Parliament or in the community. It becomes real inside prisons, on landings, in OMU offices, in probation appointments. No, this is not about ignoring the national HMPPS framework. It's about understanding enough to stay inside of it and protecting frontline staff from avoidable problems. Now, before we wrap this up, hi, my name is Dagna, and I've stood on the inside of the system. I've seen what the headlines miss. This is Inside Out Justice, when we say the quiet parts out loud.